Since Mark Robinson is staying in the race as the Republican nominee for North Carolina's governor, we will soon know the exact number of North Carolina Republicans who are not disturbed by his past comments and will nonetheless vote for him. His Christian evangelical support in North Carolina will remain strong. Trump has not withdrawn his endorsement. The North Carolina Republican Party has reaffirmed its uh, support for Robinson, notwithstanding the CNN article about his past comments. I suspect there will be between 2.2 million and 2.4 million Republicans in North Carolina who will vote for Robinson to be their governor, somewhat less than what the Republican nominee received in 2020. And there will be fewer votes likely that will be cast for Michelle Morrow as the Republican nominee for school superintendent in North Carolina. Morrow's claim to fame was in her advocating for the pay-per-view execution of President Obama. I've linked a CNN article that quotes from Morrow's post that so endeared her to the Republican base in North Carolina that led to her election as the Republican nominee for statewide school superintendent. The total votes for Robinson and Morrow will be one of the more telling indicators about the Republican Party in the U.S. as redefined in the Trump era. Robertson claims that the posts from 2008 and 2012 that were referenced in the CNN article were not made by him and were created by AI. I've not seen an argument yet, anyways, that the comments attributed to Robinson were recently created, since they were time-stamped during that period at the porn site that he frequented, according to CNN. One of the many problems with Robinson's argument is why would anyone create those posts long before Robinson's entry into politics, using his email address, his photo, and repeating phrases that are unique to what Robinson has said publicly since becoming a public figure, such as, quote, frogs fat ass, end quote. He is a real intellectual, a Republican intellectual. There's not much difference, if any, in referring to the Holocaust as, quote, hogwash, end quote, which Robinson has done publicly, and referring to himself as a black Nazi, or saying that he preferred Adolf Hitler to Obama and Biden. The answer is that Robinson's denial is just not believable, even without the evidence provided by CNN in its article linking him to those social media posts made between 2008 and 2012. The reason is simple. They are consistent with comments made by Robinson publicly, and no one should be surprised that he made the comments attributed to him in the CNN article. That is who he is. He claims he's not the person who made those comments, but I have read the comments that he has made publicly, and I see the same man making both. Michelle Morrow does not even send her children to public schools. Her experience in the public school system apparently is running for as a candidate for a county school board and being defeated. Her appeal to Republicans involves her prior comments made before the race, her book banning statements, which is also a main Republican objective, and claiming that she will end socialist, and socialist is in quotes, indoctrination in the North Carolina public schools, which has no factual support, but none is needed. That kind of demagogic statement appeals to the Republican base. What was Robinson's qualifications before the Republicans elected him as North Carolina's lieutenant governor in 2020? He had none that I can find, but he did successfully imitate the demagoguery of his mentor, Donald Trump, and delivered it in a Martin Luther King style of speaking. One of the comments that Robinson made that is attributed to him by CNN is referring to Martin Luther King as Lucifer and a coon. The Republicans say that they are for fiscal and personal responsibility. It's a talking point. Personal responsibility involves admitting to what you have said and done in the past. A person is responsible for their own actions and statements. I certainly believe that to be the case. Robertson has not done that for his prior comments. He did finally acknowledge in 2022 that he paid for an abortion, but has consistently called abortion murder and genocide after becoming a politician and wants to make all abortions criminal in North Carolina. As to fiscal responsibility, prior to being elected lieutenant governor, Robinson had filed for bankruptcy 3 times, had been sued for non-payment of debts, had been evicted from an apartment for non-payment of rent, and failed to file income taxes for 7 years. So those are all qualifications in Trump world for being governor. What has he accomplished prior to becoming lieutenant governor? Nothing that I could find. I doubt that the latest revelations about Robinson will cause Trump voters to reconsider voting for Trump. The more likely negative impact on Trump would be people who were not planning to vote, but now feel compelled to vote against Robinson and Morrow, and will then just add a vote for Harris while they're present at the voting booth. There will be some North Carolina Republicans who will vote for Democrats, recognizing that Trump and his down ballot candidates, Robinson and Morrow, are hurting the Republican Party in North Carolina long term. Harris may, and it's now viewed by me as the more likely than not scenario, win North Carolina by about 1%. That will be an important pickup for her. I am citing support from my statements in the more section below.